My prayers are filled with gratitude for the community I live in. You play with all four limbs, you have to play all the different styles, and you don't just play one instrument. You got to play timpani, marimba, vibraphone, tabla, hand percussion, timbales, all that kind of stuff. Not everybody's lucky enough, not every drummer is lucky enough to have a band director that is also a drummer. I became obsessed with the idea of becoming a drummer. I remember standing in our kitchen telling my mom I was going to grow up and be a studio drummer. And by 16, I was playing in Reno in that day. And, you know, at that time, all the casinos had showrooms. And celebrities, the biggest celebrities on the planet, would go through those showrooms. Well, only old people will know these people. But Liberace, Cher. You know Cher?
Yeah,
you know that name?
Yeah.
Sammy Davis Jr., Anne Margaret, Shirley MacLaine, Raquel Welch. Barbara Eden was the first celebrity show that I got hired for. And then later on, I played for the Osmonds. I was enthralled because there I am at age 16, and I'm in this band with seasoned professionals that sound wonderful. And the lights and the sound system and the celebrities and the pretty girls and the dancers and the opening acts. And then my paycheck started becoming bigger than my dad's. And anyway, all that put together convinced me that, I got to do this for the rest of my life. I remember holding a check, and it was not much, you know, $600 or something. My dad comes up behind me, and he says, "Wow, is that for this month?" And I said, "Dad, that's for this week." My jobs have been reggae one day, and salsa the next, and country one day, and top 40 the next, and Motown. And I'd say yes, in the sense that on the few days that I went to school, you know, there'd be a voice that it came over the intercom. "Mrs. Prenderville, is Jay Lawrence in your class?" And she'd go, "No, oh, he is here today." And, well, you send him to the office. And eventually I stopped even going to the office.
Well, good. Well, tell me anything people wouldn't realize about that life, you know, professional drumming and stuff like that.
Well, I was raised LDS. And so even though I worked in places that serve alcohol, I never have tasted it. And so that the hang up for a lot of musicians was substance abuse. These musicians, that was kind of a magical era. Charged me $5 and would spend about 3.5 hours with me. 3.5. I was his only student, but 3.5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. And he said, "Well, do you play as well on drum set as you do on percussion?" And I hadn't been playing drum set, but I told him yes. And then he said, "Well, we're going to fire our drummer this week. Will you bring your drums up and audition?" Well, the road gigs included just a few. Liberace, the Osmonds, Chris Ledoux, Enoch Train, this band that we did world music versions of LDS hymns. Well, I didn't know anything else. When things started drying up in Reno and Lake Tahoe and Las Vegas, and I paid for my own mission and for a college, and so I ran out of money quickly. "Hey, do either of you want to take the house percussionist position at Sahara Reno?" Well, after a little while, I realized, hey, there's a lot of music to be made in Utah. I'm playing with the big bands and playing with the Casual Kings, the guys that booked one-nighters. And then this Henry Wolking was his name, was the jazz director at the University of Utah. He hired me to teach up there. And then a few years later, BYU hired me to teach down there on their adjunct faculty. Twice I had 6 gigs in one day. And I didn't work that hard. At the end of the day, my ears were tired. My back was tired, but she was the one leapfrogging me all the way, breaking down this drum set, setting up the next one. It was either 2012 or 2013, was chosen as the overall winner, the award of distinction, I think they called it, the first place prize for the hymn, a hymn writing competition. Composition is a little like improvisation, only you can take your time with it.
It
uses all the same elements: harmony, melody, rhythm, dynamics, texture, colors, orchestration, that kind of thing. I think I've done 8 albums as a leader, and then I don't know how many albums I've been on as a sideman, but so a lot of the Jay Lawrence albums are are filled with my arranging or compositions.
Does it feel good to, blend what you love doing for a living with also, obviously, you're a man of faith, and do you like that blending of those two worlds?
Yeah, that's who I am.
Yeah.
It's both.
Yeah, you're both. Yeah, you're both those people, right? That's so. I love that.
Finding balance is always the challenge, and
for all of us.
And I would say that I succeeded some days, but not every day.
Yeah.
And it makes me understand to a greater degree about this craft that I'm involved in. When you have to explain, teaching is one of the best ways to learn, right? Once I had been teaching for quite a bit, I had a friend that persuaded me. In fact, he was my very first private drum student.
Okay.
And he persuaded me to write a book.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, write a book, and I put it off for a little while, and he kept, urging me to consider it, and he helped me do it.
Okay.
And eventually I did it, and now it's on edition 9.4.
Nice.
And they have used it as far away as Hawaii to Juilliard.
Yeah.
Carl Allen was using it there at Juilliard, and
Yeah.
North Texas, which is a big jazz school.
Yeah.
I noticed some of my students weren't very good musicians, and so I added a sixth prong, and that was musicianship. One of my long-standing jobs was recording these Broadway scores or tracks for theaters that couldn't field their own orchestra. I think I've recorded about 130 Broadway shows.
Wow.
And they're I get the reports, and so I know that they're being used in all 50 states, in Canada and New Zealand and Europe.
Wow.
It's pretty wild. I realized that somebody's going to accept those gigs, and it might as well be the guy raising a family and paying tithing. In order to pay the bills, you just say yes to whatever comes over the phone. And then I realized, no, that's who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just still enjoy making music.
Yeah.
People buy Spotify or pay for Spotify, and then that's great for the consumer.
Yeah.
Horrendous for the music
artist.
creator.
Sure.
Because you have to get tens of thousands of spins to make anything like a $20 bill. I would say draw your lines in the sand.
Yeah.
It's good if you can say, I won't work Sundays. May not always be possible.
Sure.
But it's, when it is possible, you could just turn down that work, and it'll be compensated elsewhere. If you think, okay, I've arrived, you're in trouble.
Yeah. Because you never arrived.
You never arrive. Nobody knows it all. Nobody will ever learn all there is to learn. A lot of people are familiar with the movie Sandlot.
Yep.
I played that. I played on that score.
Okay.
I soloed on a project that got 2 Grammy nominations. I taught at 7 universities before I ever got any degree of my own. The quality of musicianship surprised me when I got here.
Yeah.
Strong players, strong musicians, and then just peaceful communities. I'm a simple guy.
Who's had a great career, right?
Yeah.
Doing something he loves.
It was a blessing, and so I can't die yet.
Yeah. No, you can't. You got still more to do. So you got more to do.
Stay in the creating world, creating music, showing up at gigs and performing and doing recording sessions, and then let teaching be a supplement.
Okay.
American classical music is jazz.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And jazz is kind of the foundation for learning every other style that came from the Central West African diaspora, right? Whereas I feel sorry for the violinist that works hard or the opera singer that, gets their degree, and after 4 years of school, maybe they get a master's, and then can they get a job? Not always. Sometimes when these major symphony orchestras have auditions, 600 people will show up, or 800 people.
Why are we paying for education that's not going to help somebody get a job? I mean, that's the reason we go to learn, but really at the end of the day, it's to get a job, to support a family.